Cinema lenses. They're big and heavy, but damn are they ever beautiful. Now for the average movie studio, the cost of buying, or more likely renting, cinema glass is nothing. But to you and I, let's just say you can either pick a big down payment on a house or a set of Cooke primes. But here's where Meike decided to enter. They've created a set of full frame primes that not only look the part in terms of design, but they feel ridiculously high quality too, much more than the price tag surrounding them would suggest. So it can put cinema glass in the hands of you and I, with I being someone that really has no business having a full frame 35mm T2.1 cinema lens. And the question is, how did the video come out? How does it look? Instead of me waffling on for 3 to 5 minutes, how about I narrate while you bask in the glory of this lens's offerings? Most of what you're seeing on screen is handheld, S-Log3, graded, shot with the FX3. If you're into the look, there is a lot below. Something to point out too, if you're using a camera with active stabilization built into the body, with a manual lens, and you're shooting handheld, make sure you set the focal length properly so the stabilization works as it should. I forgot to do this, and some shots have a warped look to them, as you will very likely see. Now I didn't have anything fancy to shoot, but what we're looking at here is how this lens handles things like fall off. How smooth is it? With photo lenses, it tends to be a bit abrupt. You want that separation from the background so the subject pops. With cinema glass, you're looking for more of a smooth fall off to emulate what we see in real life. I'm going to use that C word, but the whole idea here is we want to create a cinematic look. What we're used to when we go to the cinema. Remember that place? This is all shot in 4K, but we're not looking for sharpness like we would be with a stills lens. You don't need to be able to shave with it. Sharp isn't always a good look. Looking at the footage, it's a beautiful balance. It doesn't have that clinical perfect video look. I like it. It's also worth knowing that I was using a Peter McKinnon variable ND with mist, which is an 1/8 of diffusion, to help reduce this sharpness too. The bokeh is round. Here's how it looks wide open, racking from background to foreground, and you'll see in my background right here. That's how it looks from about 10 feet away, wide open. Now this is of course a manual lens, as cine lenses are. I'm no stranger to manual lenses, I learnt on them. Film cameras, Canon 60D with a nifty 50. Way before we had IAF, or any autofocus for that matter in video. But focusing with this Meike 35mm T2.1 is pretty straightforward. It has a very large focus ring, which is really nice to turn. It's incredibly smooth all the way around. And boy, do you have to turn that thing a long way. The focus throw is 330 degrees, much more than you're used to with a stills lens. Both the focus and aperture rings have metal gears on them, and they are part of the lens, ready to go if you want to use a follow focus. There's also distance markers in both meters and feet, outlined in a nice shade of yellow on the black lens design. From what I can tell, the lens is made purely of metal and glass. It is very heavy, 1100 grams, has a minimum focus distance of 33 centimeters, and a filter thread of 82 millimeters. I'm using the E-mount version on the FX3, but I believe it also comes in PL, EF, L, R, and Z mounts as well. From what I can find online, it retails for $9.98, making you feel like you got a bargain, as it's $2 less than $1,000, which would have been too much. It was actually really refreshing to shoot with a lens like this, feeling much more involved in the process of shooting video. Taking the time to frame up my shots, manually focusing, and then using the aperture ring just ever so slightly between my thumb and my middle finger there to nail my exposure, so it's falling in that 1.7 to 2.0 exposure range for when you need to shoot with S-Log3. Just a much more raw way of shooting opposed to just pointing the camera, letting the camera do everything, and really only framing up the shot. If you're interested in this lens, I'll pop a link down below for you. And also, if you like the way that this video looked, I've created a lot that you can purchase below. Works really well with the A7SIII, S-Log3, FX3, probably the FX6 as well. If you're shooting outdoors, bright environments, sunny day, just some nice warm tones to it. And that's that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.